What is the definition of desert? A place that receives less than 25 centimeters (250 millimeters) of rain per year is considered a desert. Deserts are part of a broader type of region called drylands, which are defined by a lack of water. Dry areas can lose more moisture through evaporation than they gain from precipitation. Despite common misconceptions, deserts can be both hot and cold. Although not the largest desert overall, the Sahara is the hottest desert in the world and can reach temperatures of up to 50 degrees Celsius during the day. Usually, when we think of deserts, we imagine bright sun, wide stretches of sand, completely lifeless dunes. However, as you will see below, some deserts contain no sand at all, while others are home to a multitude of unique species of plants and animals. Since there is such a wide variety of deserts, and since deserts comprise a fifth of the planet's land area, it makes sense to ask which are the largest. If you still haven't found the best answer, join us as we review the world's 10 largest deserts by area.
10. Karakum Desert, Kara-Kum, area, 350,000 square kilometers, Turkmenistan. Karakum is a sandy desert, one of the largest in Central Asia and on Earth. It occupies almost 3/4 of the territory of the Republic of Turkmenistan. The Karakum Desert is translated as black sand. Covering much of present-day Turkmenistan, the Karakum Desert lies to the east of the Caspian Sea, with the Aral Sea to the north and the Amu Darya River and the Kizil-Kum Desert to the northeast. In modern times, with the shrinking of the Aral Sea, the extensive Aral Karakum appeared on the former seafloor. Therefore, the sands of the Aral Karakum consist of a salt marsh consisting of finely dispersed evaporites and remnants of alkaline mineral deposits washed into the basin from irrigated fields. Dust blown on a strong east-west air current carries pesticide residues that have been found in the blood of Antarctic penguins. Aral dust has also been found in the glaciers of Greenland, the forests of Norway and the fields of Russia. This is an endless plain stretching to the horizon. From the south it is pressed by the picturesque cliffs and gorges of the Kapetdağ Mountains, which break off from the height into the frozen sea of the foothills, beyond which the desert begins. In the Karakum you can see lakes and dry subtropical areas, lifeless rocky plains, clay and gypsum, vast areas of loose sand. The famous gas crater of Darvaza, popularly known as the Gates to Hell, is also located in Karakum. It is one of the creepiest places in the world and attracts hundreds of tourists every year. The gas crater has been burning for decades, hence the nickname, the Gates of Hell. The Karakum is also home to the Bolshoi Greater Balkans, a mountain range where archaeologists have discovered human remains dating back to the Stone Age. 9. Chihuahua Desert, area, 362,000 square kilometers, Mexico, United States of America. Located on the U.S.-Mexico border, the Chihuahuan Desert is named after the world's smallest dog breed. But wait a minute, rather, the dog breed is named after the desert.
Or of the Mexican region.
Or of its capital, the homonymous city. Anyway, if you've read Karl May's books set around the city of Juarez, or if you've ever watched Western movies and seen the adventures of heroes of past centuries through the burning deserts of the southern United States, you probably know what this is about. Most of it is in Mexico, but some of it is in the United States, in Texas, New Mexico and Arizona. Here, less than 228 millimeters of precipitation falls on average each year. Like many other deserts around the world, the Chihuahua Desert was formed in the rain shadow of both the Sierra Madre Occidental, to the west, and the Sierra Madre Oriental, to the east, which prevents water from the Pacific Ocean and the Gulf of Mexico from entering inwards. There are more than 300 caves underground in the desert and the Guadalupe Mountains of New Mexico. Those in at least one of those regions, Carlsbad Caverns National Park, were created after sulfuric acid seeped into the surrounding limestone. 8. Syrian Desert, area, 500,000 square kilometers, Syria, Jordan, Iraq, Saudi Arabia. The Syrian Desert is described by Harvard as an arid land. Covering much of Iraq, Jordan, Saudi Arabia and Syria, the region is marked by lava flows and was an impenetrable barrier to humans until recent decades. Now highways and oil pipelines cross the region, which receives less than 125 millimeters of rain annually on average. People still manage to reach parts of it in ancient times. An area, now called the Stonehenge of Syria, was discovered in 2009. It includes stone circles and possibly tombs, according to a 2012 report by archaeologist Robert Mason of the Royal Ontario Museum, cited by Harvard Gazette. The Es-Safa volcanic field near Damascus is the largest volcanic field in Arabia. The vents found in that area were active about 12,000 years ago during the Holocene epoch. More recently, around 1850, a hot lava lake was observed in the region. 7. Patagonian Desert Area, 673,000 square kilometers, Argentina, Chile, Falkland Islands. The Patagonian Desert is a rather large arid area that occupies a large part of Argentina. The desert and semi-desert region stretches from the Atlantic Ocean to the Andes, with mostly treeless plains, according to Encyclopedia Britannica. Like Death Valley in California or the Chihuahua Desert in Mexico and the United States, the Patagonian Desert is in the rain shadow due to a high mountain range, in Patagonia's case, the Andes. Some regions of the desert receive 10 to 30 centimeters of precipitation per year, according to the University of Oregon. When air masses are forced over mountains and then down, they warm and their ability to hold water vapor increases. Susan Woodward, professor emeritus of geography at Radford University in Virginia, wrote on a website at university, dedicated to geospatial sciences about deserts. On the windward side of a mountain, she added, evaporation occurs faster than rain, creating an arid environment. 6. Kalahari Desert Area, 900,000 square kilometers, Botswana, Namibia, South Africa. The Kalahari Desert covers large areas of South Africa, Botswana and Namibia. Average rainfall is less than 500 mm per year, but some locations receive less than 200 mm annually, according to the 1991 book The Kalahari Environment by David G. Thomas and Paul A. Shaw. Described as featureless by the Encyclopedia Britannica, the Kalahari is largely covered by layers of sand that formed sometime between 2.6 million and 11,700 years ago, probably due to the action of wind and rain. The layers have remained virtually unchanged since then. The Kalahari was also a site of human activity thousands of years ago. In an excavated area in South Africa's Wonderwerk Cave, archaeologists have found evidence of fires burning about 1 million years ago, according to a study published by the U.S. National Academy of Sciences (PNAS). A separate discovery has brought to light paintings in the Sedillo Hills of Botswana, a UNESCO site, evidence that people performed rituals 70,000 years ago, and human activity in the area, although discontinuous, dates back to at least 100,000 years. 5. Gobi Desert, area, 1,295,000 square kilometers, Mongolia, China. The Gobi Desert is the second largest desert in Asia and the fifth largest desert in the world. Located along the border between China and Mongolia, it has major historical significance as the location of several important cities along the ancient Silk Road. It is classified as a rain shadow desert, meaning that a nearby mountain range blocks rainfall from reaching the region. In this case, the Tibetan Plateau in the southwest blocks precipitation that would otherwise reach the Gobi Desert. Other rain shadow deserts include the Atacama Desert in northern Chile, small enough to be added to our ranking, and the Chihuahua Desert at number 9. Far from being completely inhospitable, the Gobi Desert is home to diverse species such as the Bactrian, Mongolian camel, black-tailed gazelle, Gobi ibex, Gobi bear and even the elusive snow leopard. While plants are generally rare, there are some species of flora that have adapted to survive the harsh desert conditions. The most common plant is the saxaul tree, which is able to retain moisture in its bark and is present in all desert ecosystems. 4. The Arabian Desert Area, 2,330,000 km, countries, Saudi Arabia, Yemen, Iraq, Qatar, Jordan, Oman, Israel, United Arab Emirates, Kuwait. The Arabian Desert is the largest desert in Asia and the fourth largest in the world. Comprising most of the Arabian Peninsula, it covers regions of 9 individual countries, second on our list in this regard. The Arabian Desert is classified as subtropical, meaning temperatures are consistently warm and rainfall is rare. At its southern end is one of the largest unbroken bodies of sand in the entire world, known as the Rub al-Khali, or the Empty Quarter in Romanian. Although the Arabian Desert generally presents a hostile environment for mammals, there are a small number of species that inhabit the region. This includes the Arabian camel, Arabian wolf, sand gazelle, Nubian ibex, striped hyena, caracal and red fox. However, the desert actually presents an ideal environment for reptiles such as lizards, snakes and geckos. 3. Sahara, area, 9,200,000 square kilometers, countries, Algeria, Egypt, Libya, Morocco, Sudan, Tunisia, Western Sahara, Mali, Mauritania, Niger, Eritrea, Chad. Perhaps the most famous name on this list, the Sahara Desert is the largest hot desert and the third largest desert in the world. The Sahara Desert reaches 12 countries, it ranks first in this respect, and encompasses most of North Africa. Similar to the Arabian Desert, the Sahara is a subtropical desert and receives very little rain throughout the year. However, things were not always the same. Every 20,000 years, the Sahara Desert actually swings between a savanna and a desert, according to a study published by Science Advances in 2016. It is believed to have been fertile 5,000 years ago, when the region had an average of rainfall 10 times higher than at present. This cycle is due to a wobble of the Earth's axis, which affects the location of the North African monsoon and will probably cause the Sahara to turn green again in about 15,000 years. While camels are the most common domesticated animal found throughout the Sahara, largely due to their ability to survive long periods with little water, there are many wild animals that are characteristic of the region. These include the Saharan cheetah, fennec fox, Dorcas gazelle, Addax antelope, red-necked ostrich and African wild dog. 2. Arctic Polar Desert. Area, 13,900,000 square kilometers. Countries, Canada, Iceland, Denmark, Greenland, Russia, Norway, Sweden, Finland, United States, Alaska. As mentioned before, not all deserts are composed of fine sand grains and torrid temperatures. The Arctic Polar Desert, which includes the areas to the north of our planet, is one such example. Polar deserts are defined by their cold temperatures, lack of precipitation, and abundance of ice caps. Since most of the land is trapped under these ice sheets, it still proves to be a hostile environment for plants and animals. Despite this, the Arctic Desert is home to a diverse number of animals such as the Arctic fox, Arctic wolf, polar bear, caribou, snowy owl, and moose, among others. Some of these animals migrate between the Arctic tundra, which contains more vegetation, and the Arctic Desert, while others are permanent residents of the desert. In the late 19th century, many high-profile explorers had the mistaken belief of an open polar sea in the region comprising the modern Arctic Polar Desert. This theory was based on the idea that one could pass through these northern ice barriers to reach an open, navigable ocean surrounding the North Pole. Although the theory was initially wrong, and the price paid was a few failed expeditions, it may become a reality in the future as a result of Arctic shrinkage. In fact, it is quite likely that there will eventually be an ice-free route between Europe and the Pacific Ocean via the Arctic. 1. The largest desert in the world is actually a continent, Antarctica area, 14,200,000 square kilometers. The Antarctic Desert is the largest desert on the planet, measuring a total of 13.8 million square kilometers. Antarctica is not only the most isolated continent on Earth, but also the coldest. It is considered a desert because its annual rainfall is less than 51 millimeters. In fact, this single desert is larger than the combined size of the Gobi Desert, the Arabian Desert, and the Sahara Desert. To put this into perspective, much of the Sahara Desert receives twice as much rain as Antarctica. Coastal regions of Antarctica receive more rain, but still average only 200 millimeters, or 8 inches, per year. Unlike most desert regions, however, rain does not enter the ground. Instead, the snow piles up on itself. While both polar deserts on this list have many similarities, they can be distinguished by a stark contrast in plant life. Unlike its northern counterpart, the Antarctic Polar Desert was not thought to contain any form of plants until a small number of microorganisms were discovered in the 1970s. This southern desert also experiences extremely high wind speeds which, when combined with its arid environment, can form hypersaline lakes. Some examples of these hypersaline bodies of water are Lake Vanda and Lake Don Juan, each of which has a salt content 10 times that of seawater. There are no permanent human residents in Antarctica, but between 1,000 and 5,000 researchers can be found at different times of the year at research stations across the continent. The largest is McMurdo Station, located at the tip of Ross Island and administered by the United States. Antarctica can also be bitterly cold. The coldest temperature ever recorded was taken at the Soviet Vostok Station on the Antarctic Plateau. It reached a record low of -89.2 degrees Celsius on July 21, 1983 and was obtained using ground measurements. Satellite data indicated a temperature of about -93.2 degrees Celsius on 10 August 2010, but the reading has not been confirmed.
If this material has piqued your interest, I invite you to like and subscribe to this channel. All the best.